Chapter 1. The fire and the foglets dispense with metaphors. The house is not on fire, the world is. You are not imagining the decay. You are a witness to its methodical demolition. You see the very bedrock of civilization, the nuclear family being pulverized. A mother and father raising their own children has been reframed from the norm into a novelty, an act of quiet rebellion. Into the vacuum left by this sacred broken bond, a new order rushes in. Gangs have become the new family, the new tribe, offering a brutal and distorted reflection of the loyalty and belonging that was stolen from a generation. The consequences of this war spill from the broken home directly onto the pavement. You see the streets filling with a brazen criminal element, the logical outcome of a world without fathers. You witness a revolving door justice system, a cruel joke that releases rapists in months while the parole and probation departments, deliberately starved of funding and drowning in cases, have functionally useless. You see the lifeblood of your community draining away, one boarded-up storefront at a time, while public agencies designed to serve the people are bled dry. Their resources diverted to a machine that produces only compliance and control. This is the ground-level, undeniable reality. The world is going to shit outside your window. But the vast majority of the population sees none of this chaos. Or worse, they have simply gotten used to it. A terminal apathy has set in, the quiet, corrosive mantra of a dying society. If it's not them, it doesn't affect them. This indifference is by design. They have been driven indoors, trapped in the perfect, brutal loop of modern servitude at work, laboring for a currency that is constantly being devalued. And in the slivers of time that remain, completely sedated by the screen. This containment and apathy are the perfect environment for the weaponized narrative pushed through their cell phones. It is a constant, intravenous drip of isolation, division, and corruption. An indoctrination campaign so total that it has become the background radiation of our lives. It is a digital poison designed to atomize society, to poison young minds before the window can form a coherent thought, and to ensure that no one ever looks up from their device long enough to see the bars of their own cage, to see both the fire on the streets and the apathetic fog that keeps everyone indoors is not paranoia. It is clarity. It is the agonizing, isolating state of being the only sober person in a room full of addicts, watching them praise the dealer while the floorboards rot beneath them. This book is a matchstick to burn away the fog. It is a forensic investigation for the sane. We will not debate the official narratives. We will dissect them as the calculated lies they are. We will identify the arsonists who lit the fire and the engineers who pumped the fog. We will trace the decay you see on the streets back to its ancient, spiritual source. We will map the architecture of this controlled demolition, from the corruption of our justice system to the inversion of our very souls. To understand how the world is controlled, you must understand the magic trick. It's a simple illusion with two parts. The first is the distraction, the fire on the streets that you're meant to watch. The second is what the magician is doing while you're not looking. He's turning the audience into a trick. This is the secret. The system's prison isn't just being built around you. It's built inside your neighbors, your friends, and your family. The most effective prison is the one where the prisoners guard each other. You have heard the phrase dumb as a rock. The system's goal is to turn the population into smart rocks. It wants them solid, unthinking, and silent, but with just enough programming to repeat whatever they are told. This is the true meaning of the eyes in the rocks. The people are the rocks, and the "yeah" is the ghost in their heads. The voice on their phone that tells them what to think, what to hate, and what to fear. The cell phone is the needle, and the 24-hour stream of news, social media, and algorithm-fed outrage is the drug. This drug doesn't just distract people. It physically rewires their brains. It trains them to stop thinking for themselves and to start outsourcing their opinions to the machine. They become gullible users, walking terminals for a central computer. The screen tells them to be afraid of a new virus, and they are terrified. The screen tells them that their neighbor who voted differently is a monster, and they learn to hate. The screen changes the definition of a man or a woman overnight, and they dutifully change their language. When you argue with someone who is mindlessly repeating a headline, you are not talking to a sovereign human being. You are talking to a rock. The AI has possessed them. They are its mouthpiece. This is why this system is so stable. Its foundation is not armies or laws. It is the unshakable programmed belief of billions of talking rocks who do not even know they are a foundation. They are the living stones of their own prison. To be a witness is to refuse to be a rock. It is the holy and dangerous act of thinking for yourself before we can expose what the system is telling everyone to believe. You must first accept the horrifying truth of how it works by turning the people you love into its puppets. Chapter 3: The Shepard Fallacy. The system of control we are witnessing is not a random, chaotic failure of human institutions. A machine this perfect in its destructive purpose cannot be an accident. It has an architect. It has a will. The fire you see on the streets was not lit by incompetence. It was lit by a conscious and supremely intelligent arsonist. To understand this enemy, you must first understand his primary weapon. It is not a bomb, a law, or a currency. It is the power to create a fallacy, a deceptive and misleading argument that hijacks the truth, twisting its meaning without ever touching the thing itself. The architect of our prison, the entity we will call the Shepard, the devil. The father of lies cannot create. Creation is the domain of Elohim. The Shepard can only mock, corrupt, and counterfeit what has already been created. He is a spiritual parasite, and his art is the construction of beautiful fallacies that led to damnation. Once you understand this tactic, you will see his signature everywhere. Consider the swastika. For millennia, it was a global symbol of peace and divinity. The Shepard built a fallacy around it, a twisted argument of racial purity and ancient heritage. In the space of a decade, he convinced a nation to accept this fallacy, transforming a sacred symbol into the most potent emblem of hatred in the modern world. Consider the rainbow. This was the symbol of God's covenant, his promise of mercy after the flood. The Shepard has executed his most audacious fallacy by hijacking this symbol and making it the global banner for the Pride movement. He has taken a symbol of God's promise and, through a deceptive argument of love and identity, has turned it into a celebration of the original sin, the very pride that caused Lucifer's fall. Finally, consider the most intimate fallacy of all, the corruption of love into lust. Love, in its true form, is an expression of Elohim's creative, self-sacrificial will. It builds families and civilizations. The Shepard has constructed a powerful fallacy that argues this true love is a prison. He then offers his counterfeit, the selfish, consumptive, and sterile impulse of lust, and presents it as liberation. This is the nature of the war. The Shepard is a master logician, an architect of fallacious arguments. He is constantly working to replace every truth, every virtue, and every sacred symbol with a beautiful, reasonable, and utterly damnable counterfeit. His goal is to create a world where humanity, given a choice between a difficult truth and an easy fallacy, will willingly choose the fallacy because it has been programmed to see it as the more enlightened path. To be a witness is to become a demolition expert of these fallacies. It is the act of seeing things not with their imposed, counterfeit meaning, but with the inherent, eternal truth given to them by their Creator.